Hello again everybody. So this week we're going to talk about Siem Reap, the land of temples, where one of which is the UNESCO heritage Ankor Wat, followed by the Bayon Temple and the Phrom Temple. So when you go for the Ankor Wat tour, do opt for the sunrise tour. It will generally cost you about additional $10 to $15 US, and I'll tell you why later. And yes, of course, sunrise tour means waking up really early. So early that you can not only hear a lot of insects but feel them flying around you. The tour will generally start with tour guide showing you the carvings and markings made by the early people. So if you don't wake up early, you will be the few people standing behind this crowd, and your photo of the temple won't look as beautiful unless you like loads of heads in your photo. But if you're not a morning person, that's fine. There's still other spots available to take beautiful shots of the temple. This is one of the main walkway into the temple. Some may ask, why are there so many holes on the ground? This is where iron rods were inserted and connected to ropes to move the stones and dragged by elephants. The temple was made up of two stones, sandstone and laterite. Laterite for the sub-base and sandstones for carvings. And this is a coffin made out of sandstone. When entering into Ankor Wat, you definitely have to be fit, because there's going to be a lot of walking and steps. Honestly, my knee hurt after a while. If you like history and culture, this is it. You will be greeted by intricate stories inside of the walls of Ankor Wat. This is where the people carve and tell the story about Lord Vishnu, an ancient Indian story, and the Ravana demon man. How a war started because Ravana adopted the wife of Rama, who was actually a good person. But this is where you also see a war brewing, swords, spears, bows and arrows as well. Each wall in Ankor Wat tells a very different story. Although there are informational boards all around, I recommend you to hire a tour guide here to explain the stories on the walls. This sunken place, which was believed to be a place to clean yourself before you pray. The last part is the inner courtyard, where you will be able to climb to the top of Ankor Wat for a magnificent view. Be extra careful here, as the steps are really tiny yet steep. Just so you know, tour guides are not allowed to go up due to space constraints. Next stop, Bayon Temple. This temple is special for its tower of smiling faces built in the last 12th or 13th century. You will also be able to see carvings like the Serpent King Mukhalinda, the Buddhist snake, which is also called the Garuda, a Hindu vehicle rode by Lord Vishnu. Take notice on the towers in Bayon Temple. There are 54 towers to represent the 54 provinces during the time of construction. And of course, the walls in Bayon Temple tells another story where it tells you the war with the Champa and Khmer Empire. Showing the Champa lost the battle in this area in 1471, you will also see carved heads, body dismemberment, so don't be surprised. This is the inner wall where it shows the military exercise in the forest. You can also see ladies cooking fish on fish sticks and many more. This wall shows what happened when you go out in the jungle. A man climbing on a tree, a guy aiming a bow and arrow at an animal, a crocodile biting on a man's leg if you're not careful, and a woman smelling fish sticks. don't forget to look up. This is where you will see the many carved smiling faces unique just to Bayon Temple. And honestly, I'm not sure why this is here, but this was told to be the Lingga Kama Sutra ceremony, where the long stone represents the male organ being inserted into the hole, which is the female organ. We have come to the last temple, the Phrom Temple, well known for large tree growth within the temple, and the famous Tomb Raider movie which was also filmed here. The Phrom do not have much story being carved out on the wall, unlike Ankor Wat and Bayon Temple, but it is more of the design and carvings on the arches of the temple. Look above. You will also see a Buddha without a head. Reason for this is because the heads were stolen and exported out for money. This was also thought to be an archaeological site where a Buddha statue was just discovered. If you notice, in this room there are many holes. This is where once diamonds were kept in there for Mother Statue Phagaparamita, also called the Diamond Sutra. I feel that the Phrom Temple has one of the most photogenic and Instagrammable spots with the backdrop of the huge ancient trees and temple.